Hello students, this next topic we are going to see in sociology of India is westernization. In last class we have seen that what is Sanskritization and its process, how it is being emerged, how social mobility have performed to carry out this theory of Sanskritization, westernization, modernization. Today we are going to see westernization definition and what are all the features and what are those two types of dimension which have been there in westernization and so on. Before starting the subject westernization, once again I like to recall the social mobility which has been as a main reason to start up the theory of westernization and Sanskritization. Social mobility is an inseparable aspect of the modern society. It does not mean that all societies provide equal opportunity for mobility. The tempo of social mobility is also not the same everywhere. Hence, some societies are said to be more mobile than others. The Indian society is also experiencing comparatively a high rate of social mobility right now. However, there prevailed a belief that Indian society, which is having caste as a dominant form of social stratification system, it is rigid and does not favor mobility. But an eminent and Indian sociologist, Professor M.N. Srinivas, has convincingly established the fact that social mobility is taking place both within and outside the framework of caste system. He introduced new sociological terms such as Sanskritization and westernization in support of this view of Indian mobility. In last class we have seen about Sanskritization. Now we are going to see the westernization. The concept of westernization introduced by M.N. Srinivas seems to be much similar than the concept of Sanskritization. Like a Sanskritization, this term is also of great help in analyzing the social cultural changes taking place in India for the past 250 years. M.N. Srinivas used this term mainly to refer to the impact of British rule on the Indian society. Srinivas has also tried to use this concept in a general manner to refer the impact of West on the non-Western society. In thus he wrote, westernization refers to the changes in technology, institution, ideology and values of non-Western society for a long period. This is what westernization, the meaning of westernization. Here the definition. Westernization refers to the changes brought about in Indian society and culture as a result of over 150 years of British rule. And the term subsumes changes occurring at different levels like technology, institution, ideology, values. In simple word, westernization mainly explains the changes that have taken place in the Indian society and Indian culture due to the Western contact through the British rule. This is what Westernization is. It is nothing but how India has been changed, how India has been influenced by the Western contact such as British rule. During 19th century, the British slowly laid the foundation of modern state by serving land, settling the revenue, creating a modern bureaucracy, army and police, instituting law courts, codifying the law, developing communication such as railways, post and telegraph, roads and canals, extra publishing schools and colleges and so on. The British brought with them the printing press, which led to many side changes. Books and journals made possible the transmission of modern as well as traditional knowledge to a large number of Indians. Newspaper, in those days, newspaper helped the people living in the remote corners of the country to realize their common bonds and to understand the events happening in the world outside. From these things, from these kind of activities only, the Westernization has been began. Some of the major features or the process of Westernization. Firstly, it is possible to identify some of the main features of Westernization on the basis of explanation of the term of by Vanda. Firstly, Westernization compared to Sanskritization is a simpler concept. As already made clear, it explains the impact of Western contact, particularly a British rule on the Indian society and culture. M.N. Srinivas, he defines the uses of the term when he says that there is need for such a term when analyzing the changes that a non-Western country undergoes as a result of prolonged contact with a Western one. This is what M.S. Srinivas is saying. It is nothing but there should be a need of analysis to identify the changes that a non-Western country undergoes as a result of prolonged contact, that is a longer contact with a Western one, that is a Western country. This is what Westernization compared to Sanskritization. And second feature is some of the areas which have been affected by Westernization. The process of Westernization, according to M.N. Srinivas, the process of Westernization mainly refers to the changes that took place in some of the main areas such as technology, institution, ideology and values. These changes that are took places in these areas, especially during the British rule, had their own impact on other area of our social life, of our social well-being. When the Western countries started to influence our Indian society by their own technology or by their own institution or their ideology or their own values, we have been started to affected by Westernization in these areas only. We can't able to move out from the technology or the institution or the ideology or the values which have been started up from the Westernization. And the third feature is involvement of different section of people who accelerated the process of westernization. The different type of people, the different section of people is nothing but among the British, among the Indians. Some of the British people and a section of people in Indian community served to accelerate the process of westernization. Among the British, first one among the British, soldiers and high-level government officials, merchants and a big owners. Like in those days, plantation only the main thing. So, secondly, merchants and big plantation merchants. And third one, foreign Christian missionaries. All these three, that is soldiers and high-level government officials and merchants and foreign Christian missionaries, all these exerted Western influence on those Indias with whom they have been there in a close contact. And secondly, among the Indians who are all have been there. Firstly, people who served in the house of British officials as domestic servants. They are the first. And secondly, those Western educated Indians who served in the government bureaucracy of Western community, such as advocates, engineers, doctors, and so others. These are the two section of people who have been there as an acceleration of process of this theory westernization. And the fourth feature, westernization may speed up the process of Sanskritization. According to the author or the professor Srinivas, the increase in westernization does not retard the process of Sanskritization. Both go on simultaneously, and to some extent, increase in westernization accelerates the process of Sanskritization. For example, the postal facilities, railways, buses and newspaper media, which are the fruits of Western impact on India. These rendered more organized religious pilgrimages, meetings, caste solidarities, etc. This is how the westernization had started to speed up the process of Sanskritization. Once again, I am explaining this topic because it is the major one, how the westernization is being participated to speed up the process of Sanskritization. What Srinivas said, westernization does not retard the process of Sanskritization because both will move on in a same line simultaneously. This is the main thing what Srinivas has said. For example, due to westernization only, the postal facilities, railways, buses, newspapers and medias have been established. These are all the fruits of Western impact in India. These have been an agent of processing the Sanskritization in a way of organizing a religious pilgrimages, meetings, caste solidarities and so on. and the last feature is preference of the lower caste people towards westernization. At the present, the lower caste people feel that it is easier and more advantageous for them to elevate their social status through westernization than Sanskritization. Through Sanskritization, they could only imitate the upper caste people and their lifestyle to enhance their social esteem, whereas westernization provided a wider opportunity for the lower caste people to attain equality on the upper caste people in important areas such as education, profession, politics, financial matter, etc. This westernization helped them, the lower caste people, to withstand and resist the dominance of upper caste, especially in the field such as education, government jobs and politics and so on. Hence, there is a greater trend towards westernization than Sanskritization. The extent, effectiveness and urge towards the Sanskritization seems to be given a place to process of westernization. This is the last feature of westernization. And nextly we are moving on to the dimension of westernization. It was mentioned by Professor Yogendra Singh, who have been adopted the distinction between primary and secondary westernization as suggested by M.N. Srinivas. He elaborates the various dimensions of westernization. Here he writes, the following the analytical scheme we developed for the study of cultural change in India. We shall describe the Western impact both on the little and great tradition of India. The process of westernization occurred at different levels. The opinion that of the Western impact can be analyzed under the two different heads, that is primary westernization and secondary westernization. The secondary westernization is also known as cultural modernization. The other name of secondary westernization is cultural modernization. Firstly, we are going to see about primary westernization. Primary westernization refers to changes that has been brought about in Indian tradition which are due to Western impact. Such changes are of two types. They are subcultural type and diffusion type. Firstly, we are going to see what is subcultural type. The Hindu tradition which came into contact with the Western tradition did not undergo radical change all of a sudden. The Western tradition had just emerged and growing at a great speed for the days for the Industrial Revolution. The Hindu tradition was still resistant to the Western tradition. A small section of Indian intellectuals and scholars who adopted some aspect of Western culture and lifestyles in a way supported its rapid expansion as the influence of westernized subcultural group was localized. It may be treated as a part of the primary stage of westernization. It forms a part of little tradition. It was primarily subcultural and lacked systematic worldview on an organized structure. This is what subcultural type. And secondly, we are going to see the diffusion type. There are two types. First one is subcultural type under the primary westernization. First one is subcultural type and second one is diffusion type. This diffusion type is nothing but it stated that another aspect of primary westernization. This includes the adoption and the use of new technology, dress habits and food habits, rituals, vocabulary, material culture, mode of transports, and so on. The changes in dress include replacement of clothes by factory-made clothes. Diffusive type virtually differs from the subcultural types in two respects. Firstly, it has its basis merely in imitation of external forms of culture. There is no scope of assimilating of values in diffusion type, whereas in subcultural type there will be adoption of values and cultural. Here, secondly, it has been diffused in a wider area, converting both scholars say villages and urbanites. This is what diffusion type. The second westernization is secondary westernization or a cultural modernization. Secondary westernization or cultural modernization refers to the form of westernization which occurred at the national level, the level of great tradition. According to Yogendra Singh, some of the institutional development which has been responsible for the creation of great tradition of modernization in India. These are the five institutional developments that has been represented by secondary westernization or a cultural modernization. Firstly, the growth of universalistic legal system. The consolidation of the British power in India, the traditional Hindu law underwent drastic changes. In the traditional Hindu law, the norms prescribed were different from different caste groups. There was no uniform system of law, but the new laws introduced by the British were secular and were based on the principle of universalism, rationalism and individualism. Thus, legislation became an instrument of next theory modernization. Its growth, however, was very slow and gradually a synthesis between the traditional and modern legal forms took place in many parts of India. That is what the universalistic legal system. It is nothing but a law that has been stated by Hindu law. It has been changed by the British people. In those days, in law there was no universalism, rationalism and individualism. But the law that has been stated by the British have the base of these three different things, that is universalism, rationalism and individualism. This has been the basement for creating the modernization. And secondly, second responsible or second institution is expansion of education. The contemporary education system is a powerful agent of modernization. It differs radically from the traditional education system. Religious and spiritual matters, coupled with Sanskrit literary works, constitute the main contents of syllabi previously. The British laid the foundation of modern education in India. India's modern education system as on today is only 145 years old. It was started in 1857 when the first three universities like in Calcutta, Madras and Bombay were under the British rule. In this way, the British have been influenced the westernization through the modern education. And the third one is urbanization and industrialization. Before that, this modern education, that is the second topic, expansion of education. The modern education has brought out its own impact. Firstly, it has been responsible for creation of a class of enlightenment. Secondly, it has created a subculture of students which contains elements of tradition. Thirdly, it has contributed to modernization by way of new educational structures such as schools, colleges, universities, professional institutions, research institutions, and so on. And the third institution is urbanization and industrialization. Urbanization and industrialization normally lead to cultural modernization. Those cities existed in the past in India, they did not provide any scope of modernization. Cities which because of industrial revolution has changed the structure of Indian cities. The traditional cities of India started gradually changing and new industry cities started coming up. Historically, however, it is not possible to establish relationship between urbanization and modernization in India. Even though studies has revealed that even modern cities providing opportunities for the strengthening of caste and communal association. Therefore, many scholars pointed out that urbanization has not only a modernizing impact on culture but also contributes to the survival of the tradition in many aspects. Even the physical condition of the city life call for many compromises in the traditional mode of living and culture. New colonies, modern transport, communication facilities, these have been started to influence the westernization in our Indian society. And the fourth one is communication and modernization, increased network of communication. India's western contact has also led to the introduction of the modern communication system, which has brought about revolutionary changes. The communication system brings the world closer and contributes to the diffusion of skills, knowledges, values, etc. The modern communication system includes the introducing of post and telegraph service, telephone, radio, television, internet, email, and so on. These have been the fourth major responsible factor for influencing the westernization. With that, I like to conclude the topic. Today we have seen the westernization, how it has been there, and what are all the main features and its dimension and the definition of westernization. Thank you.